Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. I'm Jason, and we are here coming to you live as I record this because I'm not dead. Live in downtown Brenham, Texas at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki, where you can find me at newdimensionscrystals.com. Let's jump right into the Star Report for this week, starting Wednesday, June the 7th. Today, we start with solar weather. And there are two coronal holes. Coronal holes are the dark spots on the sun. If you happen to see any solar satellites that are facing that and you'd like to catch up on the solar weather in between reports, those are the dark parts of the sun that are facing towards the Earth. There's one in the north and one in the south, or as we look at it, what we would call up and down, that is facing towards Earth or just turned in towards Earth today, I believe. And so that plasma stream is going to begin starting to flow towards the Earth. And the plasma stream will live on Friday night or Saturday morning. And so when they start to face towards the Earth, we begin to start to have that heavy feeling even before the impact of the plasma. And so it's almost like a landing on you or a compression. Sometimes that causes seismic activity in the planet. So pay attention to earthquakes, or if you're in earthquake zones, that earthquakes might have an uptick. And then also any kind of cardiac issues you might have. Sometimes that sort of causes a little bit of that. Usually those are more triggered by solar flaring, but they can have an effect on the heart with blood pressure and stuff like that. And then, of course, solar weather in general can affect our psyche, our psychological makeup, our mood, our emotion. And so flaring has actually sort of died down for a little while. That doesn't mean it's going to stop. And of course, we'll have a peak again in August. But just in general, the reason that I bring solar weather to us is because the solar weather goes in cycles, and usually around 12,000 year cycles. And those cycles, when they start to cycle up, are a couple hundred years. Ours beginning in around the 1850s, I believe, 1860s. And you can sort of see that those things trigger human consciousness to sort of have some expansion. You'll sort of see the Theosophist Society and the Great Awakening, the Christian revival movement in America during that time when that solar energy happened. And so when we have those kinds of energies, then we just keep having new and more awakenings, right? So sometimes you want to call it activations. If you want to think that when a certain amount of energy gets into a battery, then it can activate a machinery. Think about our consciousness as it's taking in all the solar energy and becomes more and more active. And therefore, when we get to the stars or the astrology part of it, those things are experienced more intensely, and that the transitions or the transformations that this energy does is more noticeable and more intense, and sometimes even scarier because it's unwanted. Because if you think about it, human history sort of goes in cycles, and if we are at a 12,000 year cycle, then no humans on the face of the planet, obviously, because nobody's 12,000 years old, I don't think. Maybe they are. But nobody's 12,000 years old, right? So this is the first time in memorable and even recorded history where the sun and the solar energy has been the way it is. And so it is activating us to be something different than we have ever been. So that's going to sort of have that understanding or that energy of unknowingness or uneasiness because we are becoming something that we don't have a memory bank of. So pay attention to that. That's why I talk about the solar weather. But let's jump right into the stars now that I dropped a huge thing like that. Oh, it's the first time it's been 12,000 years. But it comes in cycles, right? So 12,000 years ago, that was the first time those humans had experienced that energy before too, right? And so we're just in a cyclical event. And one would expect, or one would suggest that energy levels up, right? So that we are at a higher formation, right? You'll have people that are on television that tell you that our technology has declined, but that's not necessarily true. And that is not necessarily true of our consciousness. The belief of our consciousness maybe has a lot more power to do than technology. So we are expanding or rising in our vibration to be more than what we are. And that's why we pay attention to solar weather. Moving into astrology, I didn't want to give a dissertation on that, but it just came out. So here you go. Congratulations to y'all for hearing that. Wednesday, today, the 7th of June, we are still feeling the effects of yesterday's energy, which was 6/6, which whenever you sort of have the months numbered, it just sort of happens this way. that numerologically, when it's the day of the month, right? So 6 and 6, just like last month was 5 and 5, and next month will be 7 and 7. That sort of opens a gateway, right, where it sort of marks time, that we sort of come to a opening or a gateway or a portal where we can go to the next level. Kind of think of it as a timed lock where we can go into a new higher place of consciousness. And so 6/6 marks halfway through the year, right? We're in June. So there's 6 out of 12 months, and so these numbers will culminate on 12/12. And so you're halfway through the year of gateways, and of course, we're also still feeling the energy of the full moon over the weekend, and everything that caused in the transitions, right? So things done out of love, newness of, or the cleansingness of the full moon. And so it's a good day today to sort of evaluate all the changes that sort of happened, right? Whether that's new jobs, new relationships. A lot of energy can be used when things pass away, right? And so sometimes the full moon is the time when family members, loved ones, and even pets sort of pass on. So the energy was right for that. And so all those kinds of things take a readjustment. And so today, Wednesday, the day after that, is a good day for that to be the case. So just be good to yourself today, which leads us into tomorrow, Thursday, the 8th. I believe that's June 8th. I always like to refer down to the calendar on my piece of paper where I take my notes. And so Thursday, we're going to have a lot of influx of energy with Mars sometimes associated with the energy of war. Think of it as the drive or the desire to actually do something, right? Motivation. And not necessarily motivation to just stay in the cycle, but motivation to be what you want to do, to sort of make the changes that sort of would be the life that you wanted, and sort of even the energy to sort of be discontent enough with what you currently have to actually act. That's the energy that's going to be happening on Thursday, which Mars is going to give us a jolt of that drive. And so if you're not feeling any kind of resistance, right? So then maybe you're too stationary, maybe you're even stuck. And so Mars is really going to enliven or give you the energy to sort of see where you're stuck or how to get past, right? So this is Thursday is going to be a time of imagining, how do I get out of my funk? What would I like to be doing? And the end of Mars is going to sort of get you so frustrated or so focused that you're going to be able to sort of see beyond the, I don't have enough money, I'm not living in the right place, I'm not so-and-so or such and such, right? It's going to give you that idea to see like, well, what can I do? Or what is the pathway to get to these things that I want? Whether that's more money, whether that's more time off, whether that's a bigger family, all these things. It's going to show you like where you're stuck. And almost sort of think of it this way, is that as Thursday sort of dawns on us, that it sort of lights up that pathway that you really want to be on, and it sort of tells you go now, right? It's kind of like there's a timed door that's opened or opening, so it's going to give you that energy to actually move through that space and get to where you really want to go. Leads us into Friday, the June the 9th. Friday, the energy, in case you haven't been paying attention, the Taurinian stellium is still in effect. It's going to be in effect a total of, I believe, 57 days when it's all over, which is at the end of the month, I think. I'll get to that in a second. And so the Taurinian stellium, right, is really giving you that sort of neck energy, right? So if your neck is still feeling fatigued or tired or even strained, or maybe you're even feeling that something is awry, like you need to go to the chiropractor, that energy is still flowing in, right? And where the solar sign has moved into Gemini, right, that's sort of moving its way down to the spinal cord and the nervous system, right? And so it's sending all of this higher information into the physical body and readjusting you, right? So if you're feeling agitated or different, I know I've sort of felt like walking out into the world, into the sunlight, into the outside of my house, that it sort of just everything feels a little different, a little off, right? And so that energy is really that shifting energetically. That sun weather that we just talked about is causing other stuff to be activated. And so if you're feeling discombobulated and out of it, that is a normal feeling. That is an awakening. That is a becoming. And of course, the Taurinian stellium has the moon's north node in it, right, which is about creating a new life or a reset kind of energy, right, for this time. So those kinds of things could be happening, right? And so you might be going or headed in one direction, and then you're getting these resets, whether that's somebody's passed away, or you've lost a job, or you've got a different job opportunity someplace else, or you sold your house, or you didn't sell your house. All these kinds of things are that energy of the moon's node. And then Jupiter, right? Jupiter is about abundance, work, and then also the ability to move forward, right? So that's going to be still affecting you. And then Uranus is also in that stellium, which is about extremes, right? So if this is feeling like a bunch of extreme changes or even extreme mood changes, that's the energy of the stellium. And then, of course, Mercury is in that. And so Mercury is about communication and movement, right? So you are moving, and it's almost like you've got a new car, or you've got new tires on your car, and you're getting used to how the road noise sounds. You're getting used to how fast you can go when you need to fill it for gas. All those kinds of things are happening with the body too, right? So you might be having to adjust diet. You might be having to adjust your sleep schedule. You might be exercising more or less, right? Your body is adjusting to the energy of the cosmos. And that Taurinian stellium is going to be right here in the back of the neck, where you're going to feel it in your physical body, right? And so the sun is going to be got you feeling in the center of the chest, and then we have the back of the neck from the regular cosmos, right? So what you have really here is energy barreling through, or pulsating through, that's the word I was looking for, the two areas of your body where you manifest, right? And so these spiritual things are coming into your heart, which is sort of what do you feel about the cosmos, right? Who are you as an individual? And then sort of moving through the energetic system, the nervous system, creating a manifestation of that. So that's what's going on. And in case you are paying attention, what's also still happening to us is a Pluto retrograde. And so Pluto is about karma and fate and ending and beginnings of cycles, right? And so all of that stuff is, if you haven't begun a cycle, you're beginning another cycle, or you maybe have some starts and restarts because the cycle you're starting on isn't your highest good. You weren't courageous enough to choose that, or you weren't in the position to choose that, or you didn't see it, right? So it's just becoming more and more evident with these energies that are shifting to start to see really where you should go. And then, of course, like I just mentioned, we are in the sun sign of Gemini. And so that energy, while intense, is actually clarifying and is actually for your good. So the prescription for that would be to sort of breathe into that. And of course, you can come in and sign up for a one-on-one breathwork here at the shop, newdimensionscrystals.com. But you can breathe through that meditation, get outside, be in the sun, get your feet on the ground. There's tons of crystals that can sort of help regulate that depending on where in the body you're feeling it or what you think you're moving or stuck by. So pay attention to that. Always here in downtown Brenham to help you out with that. Then that just moves us into the weekend, where we get into Sunday. So Friday is the 9th, 10th, 11th, Sunday the 11th of June. And that's when we have the pre-shadow of Jupiter going retrograde, right? So Jupiter went into Taurus, and so we have this Taurinian stellium, and it was direct, and now it's going retrograde, right? And so that's any of the old ways of thinking about money and work and stuff like that need to go away, right? And this could even be around, what does work do? What do we get paid for work, right? So look for the culture to sort of have a lot of things going on around digital and remote work, right? And whether that's staying or going, or whether that's good or bad. And then just sort of your desire and what you want to do for work, and how you sort of balance that work home life out. Those kinds of things are what's going to sort of be called into question during the pre-shadow, right? So they'll start happening on Sunday. And then when it goes retrograde, obviously that intensifies, which moves us into Monday and Tuesday, which would be the 12th and 13th, I believe. Jupiter is going to be paying attention to us it's going to be course correcting, really. And this is what I was talking about, the start and start kind of things. If you sort of started in the wrong direction because you misheard or you misunderstood yourself, or what you were getting into, whether that be contractual stuff, because maybe you started during Mercury retrograde for that, these course corrections are going to be incoming, right? You're going to see your true path. The universe is breaking through and confirming and conforming you to it, right? Confirming you to it, meaning that that energy is kind of like those cymatic machines. So many of you have seen these on the internet. If you haven't, look it up, cymatics. And it's those little vibrating plates that they put sand on. And then when they turn them to certain frequencies, they turn into snowflakes, right? And so as this energy is shifting, it's conforming us, our consciousness and our bodies into this higher good. And so the universe is breaking through and conforming you to your highest good, right? So it might not feel like it. It might feel a little bit disorienting. And so it's not deleting all of the BS, the understandable, the what the hell's going onness of the culture itself. But what it's going to do is it's going to start conforming stuff, and those things might get more extreme, right? But eventually the table, the little grains of sand will either come into a formation, which is a higher good, a more recognizable pattern, or it will vibrate off the plate entirely, right? And it'll sort of leave the plate. And so you sort of look like these things that look like they're keeping you from your highest good, or that don't have your highest good thing, or that are moving in a direction that you don't think the world should be moving. Just sort of think that some of those things are actually moving and coming up to actually be shaken off the table of existence, or out of your at least consciousness and affect or effect on what you're doing and who you are. And so that's what the energy of Monday, Tuesday is this Jupiter is really going to start, I don't say a chain reaction, but it's really going to start moving this stuff into our consciousness, that these things are going away. These are the things to sort of move towards. And the more you can sort of be aware of your own body and your own consciousness through breath, through energy work, through meditation, through exercise, through diet, the more you can be aware of all of that, the more your body is ready to be conformed to this higher state of being, this higher good that the universe has in store for us, right? And that is a generic universe, right? Universe unaltered by a higher power. And that's also the higher power, which is wanting us to be more than what we are, and be more connected to what we were created to be. So that's the energy of Monday, Tuesday, which leads us into the Wednesday, which goes to our end of the week. Just sort of some highlights, though, for what's happening for the rest of June, since I didn't do that last week. June the 16th, the Taurinian stellium ends. And so we just talked about what that was doing, right? So that might feel like a breath of fresh air for some of you who have had some intense couple of weeks with the solar eclipses, the lunar eclipses, the full moons, and the like. All of those were governed by the Taurinian stellium. And then we're into June 17th, Saturn begins to move retrograde. And that is really about permanence, right? So Saturn is about setting up rules. And so it's going retrograde, right? So some of the rules are going to start to fall apart, right? How you've been living, or how you thought the world was going. Even how you thought the world had control, or certain things in the world had power, those might start to end on the 17th. 19th of June is the pre-shadow to Venus retrograde, right? So Venus is all about heart. Who are we truly? What do we love? What do we love about ourselves? How can we vibrate with that love more often? That's on the 19th. 21st, we have our summer solstice. Always a good day to sort of reflect and be outside and be with nature. And then we move into June the 30th, when Neptune goes retrograde. And Neptune is really about dreams, psychic work, intuitiveness, right? And so that might be some synchronicities of things that you always thought, some aha moments of messages that you've been getting repetitively in your dreams or in your thoughts start to make sense, and you start to dwell down or dive down into what that is inside of you, and you start to see the newness of what's being created, not just the brokenness about what's going away. And so that'll be a good way to end the month of June, and that'll be a good way to end today's star report. Of course, go to newdimensionscrystals.com and sign up for any of the energy work that you might want to do, one-on-one breathwork sessions. Those that are local and have little ones, I know we have little ones. Ashley is doing some stretching with the little ones on Fridays during June at noon to 12:30 ish. Right? It's always hard to get started on time and end on time with little ones, but basically think of yourself getting here by noon and being out of here by 1. And Ashley's leading that. Of course, Abigail will be there with her, our daughter, doing stretches with littles. And so if you want to come and make it out for that, you can. And then I think that is everything that's going on. Obviously, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments, whether you're seeing this on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. And you can obviously leave your comments about what you think, even questions about what you might have, because I talked about a lot of things today. And, maybe if there's something in there that's subject matter you want for a longer video that I can do other than the Wednesday star report, go ahead and put that in there with your ideas. Don't forget to like and subscribe, whether that's on YouTube or even the Facebook and Instagram pages. That always helps. It lets me know that somebody's paying attention and watching these things. And of course, the more interaction that we can be, the more we can create a symbiotic energy that is for our net positive and the world's net good. Until next time, many blessings.